was my junior year of college, and I had gone home to work my part-time job or like seasonal employee, and a couple of the employees after work were like, let's just have a beer in the parking lot, and so I had a beer, and an undercover police officer came, and I got a ticket for underage possession, and nobody else got in trouble, only me. I think I was just shy of 21, and so then for fear of like my parents finding out, I decided to get a lawyer on my own. I contacted a lawyer. They wanted some money to help represent me, and so I went to court, and having the anxiety of like, okay, I'm in college, but I got in trouble at home. I got to go to court. I got to get a lawyer. It was very, very like frustrating. I understood like, okay, I did do something wrong, but I was mad that nobody else got in trouble and I'm the only one that got in trouble. And it was kind of like an organic thing that just happened. Like, hey, well, let's just have a beer, but I could have easily said no. But I basically went around and asked where I could do community service, and a person in Taylor Down Under said, hey, yeah, we can use you. They had to think about it a little bit, and I think they had to talk to some people. And so I came into TDU, and my job was to water plants. And so there was thousands of plants in here. I mean, tons. They were on the shelves. There's display cases. They were down here. They were freestanding plants. I mean, there were so many, and TDU was so popular that I had to constantly ask people, like, can you move so I can water the plant? Can you move? Can I water this plant? I didn't want to spill anything on anybody. I didn't want to overwater and make a mess. But I began to like it was kind of like therapeutic. I would come in and water these plants and take care of them. I'd talk to them. I polished them. Like, I actually like cleaned up the leaves, some of the bigger ones. Like, the daylilies drank so much of the water. Community service led to a job, a student employment job, and then 2 years later, in this job, I got nominated as Student Employee of the Year. My supervisor nominated me, and that was a $1,000 reward. They had to make sure I didn't have any fines or late fees or tuition that I owed, and then if I got the rest. But that was really nice. I got a picture with the President Rose at the time. And then from there, I graduated in 1999, and a part-time position opened up, and in Taylor Down Under, and it was managing the budgets for off-campus life, Taylor Down Under, and I was able to apply that position and get that job, and that was part-time. And then that part-time led to a full-time job, and then I moved around within the university. I became the event coordinator for the Madison Union, which oversaw Warren, Taylor Hall, Grafton Stovall Theater, and that included TDU in there. So I got to manage the staff now that's running the space. And then from there, that led to just my experiences with that led to the Student Success Center, where now I am the building coordinator for the Student Success Center. And interestingly enough, my work here in higher education has led me to a CSPA degree, which is basically a master's in student development, and I feel like I've come full circle. With the Student Success Center and being the building coordinator, there is all kinds of issues that happen. And so we have theft is a very common thing that happens sometimes. And so instead of actually, I guess, yes, I'm concerned when someone takes furniture, but there's so many cameras that they'll find the person in less than 24 hours, go knock on their dorm and say, can I have that item back? And then the police ask, how do I want to proceed? And I can prosecute and it can go before the city, and they can get charged for, depending on what item it is. They take 2 items. It could be grand larceny, 2 pieces of furniture, and so through that experience, I've realized that people make just stupid decisions sometimes. They just aren't thinking in the moment, and so I use the OSAR, Office of Restorative Practices and Accountability, and have them go through that process instead of prosecuting, because I think I understand that they probably normally wouldn't do it, and maybe if they had someone that took a little more time with them, then they would understand kind of like how it affects what your decision that you made. I mean, my decision of taking alcohol that night, that made the police officer have to come into that parking lot, deal with me, which I probably wasn't very polite to deal with. It takes time from the community. Then I have to get a lawyer. I mean, it all was a ripple effect, and I think that having students go through a judicial process that's a little internal, where they see some restorative practice. And so a great story out of that happened was some students who got sent to judicial for taking furniture from the SSE wanted to come apologize to me. And so they came and we talked, and it was a great conversation, and we became kind of like we knew each other, and we would see each other in the Success Center and say hi. And he would kind of comment that he was looking out for the furniture because he didn't realize how much they cost and how much people use them. And so it was a kind of a cute learning experience from that, as far as his understanding of my spontaneous moment of just taking this and nobody will notice turned into a kind of like someone who was actually looking out for the building during the rest of his time at the university. So.